Howdy again, everybody. This is Doc from Thorofan, coming to you with the name behind the race segment, and there are a ton of wonderful and amazing Breeders' Cup prep races this weekend going on, and we're actually going to profile one of them as we look at a race for fillies and mares happening at Belmont Park that is named after a filly who, back in the early 1900s, had a season that made her the best horse, not just in the country, but probably the world at the time. Who am I talking about? We're about to find out as we once again look at the name behind the race. Back in 1904, a filly had a racing season that had many declaring her not only the best racehorse in America, but probably the best racehorse in the world at the time. Her name was Beldame, and she was considered by her breeder, August Belmont II, from the family whose name is synonymous with Belmont Park and the Belmont Stakes, to be the absolute best horse to ever wear his colors on the track. While obviously a successful breeder and owner in the early 20th century, Belmont was so occupied with other major projects in New York that he could not give his racing stable the attention it needed. So he leased ownership of Beldame to his good friend and business associate, Newton Bennington. As a 2-year-old, Beldame won the Great Filly Stakes at the old Sheepshead Bay racetrack on Coney Island and the Vernal Stakes in front-running fashion. No one foresaw, though, the amazing year that 1904 would be for the filly. She started her 3-year-old campaign beating the boys, and a lot of older boys at that, in the Carter Handicap under a stout hold. She then reeled off victories in the Gazelle, the Alabama, the Lady Stakes, the First Special, the Second Special, the Saratoga Cup, the Mermaid Stakes, the Dolphin Stakes, and the September Stakes. 2 of those races were truly impressive for different reasons. In the Lady Stakes, she ran off under her substitute rider and actually ran around the track and through part of the barn area before being corralled. While today that would likely mean a horse would be scratched, she was walked back to the start, broke on top, and never looked back, being eased up at the end an easy winner. In the Saratoga Cup, she took on the very talented and highly regarded 4-year-old Afrikander, who won the previous year's Belmont Stakes and set a record winning the Saratoga Cup the previous year as well, in addition to many other top horses. Beldame just toyed with them though, winning easily in a performance that had turf rider Neil Newman riding. This was an exceptionally high-class field, but Beldame vanquished them in effortless fashion. She won only 2 races at age 4, back in the colors of August Belmont II as her lease to Bennington had expired, but they were big races, in the Suburban Handicap, beating the highly regarded Broomstick while carrying top weight, and the Standard Handicap, a win that made her only the 3rd filly in history at the time to surpass $100,000 in earnings. She made a gallant try at a repeat win in the Saratoga Cup, but fell a length short for the win. It would be her last race as she was retired after that gallant effort. In 1939, Belmont Park honored the great filly who would later be enshrined in the Hall of Fame with a stakes race named after her. Run at various distances from 1 mile to 1.25 miles before being contested at its current distance of 9 furlongs, and run as a handicap until 1960. It has seen some of the great race fillies and mares of our time triumph in its stretch. From Gallaret to Gamely to Cicada to the Great Chuvie to Desert Vixen to Lady Secret.
Secret at the 8th pole, still leads by 2. I Say So, second by 3. Then Paradise and Kamikaze Rick. They pass the 16th pole, and Ladies Secret has the lead. Then I Say So is second, Ladies Secret in front.
To Personal Ensign.
They approach the wire, and she remains undefeated. Personal Ensign in front.
Orders all
to the ill-fated Go for Juan.
5 back to Wharfie by the firm and Personal Business. But at the 16th pole, to her long list of laurels, you can add the Beldame. Here she is. Go for Wand.
2-length lead,
And even the
and
remarkable mare Riboletta
takes aim as
bested
the field
another
turns
great
for
mare,
home.
Beautiful Pleasure, after
Pleasure
the latter had
racing
everything
for the
her own way
oncoming
on the
Riboletta. They're at the top of the stretch here at Belmont Park as Beautiful Pleasure floats Riboletta wide, but Riboletta has run by her. Beautiful Pleasure had no response. Riboletta has taken the lead just outside the 8th pole, and she is leaving Beautiful Pleasure behind. And all the rest, with a 16th of a mile to go, it is going to be this amazing mare, Riboletta, 6 cents.
Well, there you go, everybody. Everything you wanted to know about the great filly Beldame and the amazing things she did back in the early 1900s. And you just won't find a filly, really, that has done those things today. Maybe Rachel comes the closest in accomplishing what Beldame did back in 1904, but probably still not quite as close to just the amazing things that filly did. That's about going to do it for this week's segment of The Name Behind the Race. If you happen to have a race that you're curious about the name behind, drop us a line here at Thorofan. I'll be happy to research it for you, and you never know, it could end up on a future segment. I'm Doc for Thorofan, and we will see you next time on The Name Behind the Race. If you're an incredibly passionate thoroughbred racing fan and want to find a whole bunch of people that are just like you, why not check out Thorofan at thorofan.com. Sign up to become a member, get our amazing weekly newsletter, and learn everything and anything there is to know about this amazing sport we call thoroughbred horse racing. Thorofan, giving the fans a voice.